Hello everybody, and thank you for clicking on this video for the Rangers Rabble podcast. This is a clip from a member show that went out tonight where we rank all of Koppen / Clement's transfer business. Now obviously as it's a clip, you won't get to see the full show. If you want to see the full show, then become a member now. Links are in the description. Myself, Stuart and Iain take turns ranking or going through what did the players bring, what did they not bring, have they been good, have they been not good, and obviously you will see each of our opinions on specific players. But like I say, if you want to see the show in full, then consider becoming a member now and helping to support the Rangers Rabble podcast. I hope you all enjoy
this show and talk about by bringing him in. Was he a success when he was here?
Yeah,
I think you have to say yes, he was. And what's interesting, do you remember right back at the start when he came in, there was grumbles from our support about him, you know. And I know we've talked about this, Martin, recently in terms of how quick we are as fans to react to someone that maybe doesn't hit the ground running or doesn't get a hat trick in their first game or something like that. The mood did change during his time here from, oh, this guy isn't up to it, to, my God, we're really missing him. When's he back? Because he's kind of vital to us. So I think it was a success.
Right, so what we'll do is we'll leave that there, but after each player we'll take a vote. I mean, I'm kind of guessing we're used to guys' votes are going with this. Were they a success at Rangers, yes or no? My vote, for what it's worth, is I'm on the fence. I don't know, because I just look at the injuries and I think the times he was in the team, absolutely quality player, but was he in the team enough? I don't think so. So I'm going to sit in the fence. Iain, a quick yes or no?
Yes.
Stuart?
Yes, he contributed.
Yeah. So there you go. So it's a yes. And of course we are the perfect people to judge because we are the know-alls of football.
Absolutely, yes.
I don't even have to ask any questions about the next guy. I'm just going to say the name. And Iain, I'll let you go first this time. Stuart went first the last time.
Oh, that's a snidey one to go first.
I'm going to sit back. And
there's lots of ways you could look at this.
Fabio Silva.
Yeah, Fabio Silva. What can you say about Fabio Silva? 40 million euros he went. Was it from Porto to Wolves, wasn't it? So, he had that monkey on his back straight away. Didn't work out for him in Wolves. And he found his... He went straight from Wolves to us, didn't he? Yeah.
Yes.
So there was no kind of wee club or another wee club in between. Fabio Silva. Oh, I mean, yeah. Listen, he frustrated the fans a lot. He got on the wrong side of the fans a lot with his kind of a wee bit of a lethargic attitude. He was quite quick to gesticulate back to the fans when they saw that he wasn't having the best day. He did contribute, though, I've got to say. I mean, if you actually look at what he's going, I want to jump forward before I come back again. At Las Palmas, he's actually doing quite well, and he scored 6 goals in 16 appearances, and he scored against Real Madrid last weekend. So that's kind of when I think nobody doubted with Fabio Silva there was always a player there. Could absolutely see that. Did he work for us? That is the question, though, isn't it? I would say that was a cross for me with Koppen for Silva. That could have been a tick, but he just got off. He got off on the wrong foot. I mean, you could see some of his. At times you could see him. He was quite, had a real bit of skill and guile in the box, and he could find a space when other people couldn't. So he had those kind of bits going for him. But I think over the piece, I wouldn't say it was a bad fail, but it was probably, to me, it certainly wasn't one of Koppen's better signings, Martin.
Right, Oscar Cortes, Stuart.
I think you have to say it's a no at this point because of the injuries. I do think there is a really good footballer in there. I've said on the podcast numerous times, I don't think we appreciated the impact of his loss last season. And potentially having him available for that run-in, what that may have offered us to potentially go over the line. But there are now real question marks over his ability to stay fit. Some of it is maybe slightly unfair because, you know, you can get footballing injuries. You know, if someone clatters into you and makes a bad tackle on you or whatever, that's part of the game. But we are seeing him just, you know, he's picking up some wee niggles, even in training, going over his ankle. I feel for him, actually, because it can't be easy for a relatively young lad to come over into this, a different country, different culture, etc. And the one thing that he wants to be able to show, he can't, he's not been able to do that. So I do feel for him. It must be tough. And even when he comes back, something else then happens and he breaks down again. So, but you have to look at the facts. It hasn't worked at the moment. We have a substantial outlay to pay come the summer. So we have to hope that between now and the end of the season that he can get himself fit, get a run of games, and at least hopefully go into pre-season, get a full pre-season to hit the ground running next year. But at the moment, you would have to say it's a no.
Right, Iain, Mohamed Diomande.
Oh, that's a nice one to do, actually, because that's... Mohamed Diomande. I mean,
£4.5 million.
Yeah. This is another one that gets inside your head with the price tag, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, Mohamed Diomande.
Do we have to look at the price tag when judging these players, because the players don't pick how much they
listen. We're looking at the business that Koppen's done. Yeah, so transfers in. You know, I mean, if you take a Clinton and Ciala, for example, who we paid nothing for, and he's come in, albeit it's very early days, he's had 4 fantastic games. Right, I mean that's like your perfect scenario, but you kind of have to. I mean, you have the money you pay, the big money you pay for players has got to have some sort of impact on the overall decision whether the player's been a successful signing for us or not, especially if they are borderline, as Mohamed Diomande can be at times. So Mohamed Diomande started the season, I thought, and just looked like a fish out of water. He was the midfield. Our whole midfield was, to be fair, at the time. And Diomande just didn't look like he knew where to play. Certainly didn't look like he knew what Clement was asking him to do. So, and to that end, I mean, and by that point, he played a lot of games, because to date, Mohamed Diamande's played 53 games for Rangers. You know, so he's been here a while. He's a settled player. A little aside to that as well, he's only scored 6 goals. Now I know that, you know, he's not his role is certainly not goal scorer, but if you played 53 games and he has played 10 an awful lot, you know, and you would maybe expect, am I wrong to think, maybe expect a little bit, maybe another 4 or 5 on top of that, maybe, especially some of the standard teams that Rangers. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I have a bit of a criticism that way. However, the other side of that coin is, what I would say is, when Mo Diomande plays really well, he's among the best players on the pitch when he has a good game. So it's a really frustrating one for me. And then you kind of factor in, well, what do you get for £4 million these days in terms of a quality player, you know? So, yeah, I mean, yeah, to me, Diomande needs to find a vein of consistency. Now, to me, I think we said at a very early stage that Diomande looks like he needs coached. And for a period of about 4 or 5 games ago, when we were doing really well, he looked just that. He actually looked like he kind of knew where he was meant to be, and he was working off Raskin, Hadji, Cerny really well, and Bajrami sometimes. But again, I think of late, I didn't think he was particularly good against Fraserburgh. I really didn't. I thought he was really poor. And to me, you know, when you know you're not playing, because he's suspended for the Old Trafford game, isn't he? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when you know you're not playing at that, you think, well, I'm going to go out there and fill my boots today and help these young guys along and kind of you know, show them I'm a senior player in this squad. He didn't really do that. I thought the game passed Mo Diomande by, as it often does. So it's a frustrating one, Mo Diomande. I've kind of gone from wondering what he's all about, to thinking, oh God, we've actually got a bit of a player here, and to then leaning back to what's he all about again. And I think that's probably what the Rangers coaching staff think of Mo Diomande. He's not pulling up trees, but we see glimpses of the guy, and then we see a little vein of form whereby you think, oh, this guy's fantastic. He runs all day, box to box. He's picking out all the relevant passes, all that kind of stuff. But I just think at the moment, is a yes or a no for me? I would say.
Hey, well, don't tell us if he's yes or no yet. We'll leave it until Stuart said his say.
You, Vaclav Cerny.
Yes,
probably one of the easier ones.
Yes,
yes. He's absolutely vital to us. And so going back to our SEMA conversation, he's on loan at us. Would I love Vaclav Cerny to be with us next season on a permanent deal? Yes. Is it going to happen? Probably not, because he's going to be out of our price range. Another player, by the way, who I think would jump at the chance to join us on a permanent basis. I think he's enjoying his time. Went through a rough patch, by the way. Went through a right rough patch where he had freaking Ibrox on his back. And my God, as he turned that round. Really liked his interview that he did after he missed that sitter. Who was that? It was against Leon, wasn't it? The open goal. And he gave an honest press conference after it that he didn't sleep after it. You know, it was getting, he could clearly see what things were being written about him on Instagram and all those sort of things. It was a wee insight to, I think sometimes we forget that footballers are human beings and they're just robots, and, you know, comments don't get to them or anything like that. I think the fact that he's turned that round and he looks a threat, and he contributes. Sometimes he's not having the best of games, but he contributes, whether it's a goal or an assist. I think we did really well to get him, actually. And I think he's been a massive success.
Iain.
Yep.
Robin Proper.
Ah, you're a swine. Well, it's fairly easy, isn't it? Do you know?
Is it though, Iain? I might defend him here, by the way.
Okay, that's that. Listen, I'm open to that. I want him to be the fair. I want him to work out for us. But he's played 28 games for Rangers now. 28 games, and I've not been convinced by more than a handful. And I think I'm being generous there with Robin Proper. Not being convinced by more than a handful. So what I would say is, especially away from home, that, I mean, the physical, the opposing centre forwards know how to get at Robin Proper now, to the point where Fraser Burrows, was it number 11? Can't remember. Little stocky guy. He was pulling him about all day. Fraser Burrows.
I don't think he was.
Everyone around me was commenting on it, and I know there's a lot of angst and a lot of hate around Proper at the moment, but the opposing centre forwards have found out how to play Robin Proper in such a way that after 28 games, he's not adapted his game to have a counterpoint to it, and that's a real problem. To play football, right, and you actually see that you can get at a centre half, that's what you can do with Robin Proper. There's no doubt about it. He's not commanding. He lacks physicality, which is quite surprising. He's not a wee guy as such, but when I saw that Fraserburgh guy holding him off with his backside, as centre forwards do, and Robin Proper having to foul him to get the other side of him, I thought, this is a bigger problem than I thought. So for me, Robin Proper makes the no list.
Right, Stuart. Hamza.
Good shout, mate. Good shout.
Thank you. I'll try my best with that. Hamza Igamane, Stuart.
What can we say? Yeah.
Yes. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Look, the boy. This is where I think the manager deserves a bit of credit. How many pods were we on where somebody would fling into the chat about, can't believe we've spent we need a striker, and we've spent over £1 million quid, and there's some guy from Morocco that isn't even getting a game. What a waste of money. And Clement said to us, if we'd waited, we wouldn't have got him. Well, I think we're now starting to see that, you know, that if we'd waited till next summer or this summer coming, we're not getting Igamane. It took a bit of time to come in, but I think it went back. It's funny that we're going to Tannadice on Sunday. Thinking back to that game when he came on against Dundee United when we beat them 1-0, and you know, I think Butland launched a ball at field and he just took it down in his chest and turned, and I think everybody kind of took a step back as if say, all right, he's got something about him, and he made an impact in that game. And once he got that first goal, it just seems as if he's just blossomed from there. I think I said in a pod, he's got that kind of looks like nature about him that if you'd said you're playing in the World Cup final tomorrow, that he would go to bed and have the best night's sleep ever, because it doesn't look as if anything phases him. 2 nutmegs in a row against Spurs. He's doing keepy-ups in the corner against Spurs. The thing that we're going to have to prepare ourselves for is how long do we have him? Marseille meant to be sniffing about already. I said on last night's pod, he scores on Thursday night and plays well against Man United. It will not surprise me that somebody comes in and tries to test their resolve. What we can
We've got to start Dessers. We can put Igamane on the bench. It's too early to lose him.
Do you know what? For me personally, it's when was the last time we had somebody in our team where we could genuinely turn around and say, do you know what? There's nobody else in this league who can compare. They can do what he can do.
You're absolutely right, and that's what I was going to start by saying this. We seem to be unearthing this little gemstone. I don't want to jinx it, so I don't want to over talk it a wee bit. So what I would say about Hamza Igamane is I've not landed on it yet, but it reminds me of a player from a good while ago that I cannot remember for the life of me. But he has that ability with his kind of small, stocky, kind of low centre of gravity. He brings players into him and keeps control of the ball to the best possible.
He's not as good as Diego Maradona. Come on,
Hey, we could end up there. We could lead this conversation there. But he's just got that ability to draw players in. And then, for example, the goal that he set up for Cerny that he took on his weaker foot against Dundee. I think, was it Dundee? Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. He's literally face to face with someone. He's got the strength and the wherewithal to still play that ball through. I think he went through the centre half's legs to then get to Cerny, for Cerny to do his bit. And it was dead obvious at that point, as it has been with me for quite some time. These two players are levels above everyone else at the moment when they get going. So I like everything about him. I like the fact he wears his black boots. He's all black boots. It just adds to the kind of mystique of this guy. Do you know what I mean? He's just.
He loves a nutmeg. He
loves a nutmeg. As you say, Stuart, you could literally be putting him out against Fraserburgh or putting him out against Man U. His mindset will be the same, and that's a real talent to be like that.
He's like a young guy playing down the park with his mates.
Yeah,
that's what he
I think it's really important. Morelos was probably, from the 2012 period, Morelos was probably the first player that see young kids going to game could go, there's my idol. Whereas we all grew up going, whether it was a McCoist or a Cooper or a Gaza, a Loudrop, you'd those, they didn't have anybody. Then Morelos came around. This is youngsters will be freaking going out the back with a felt tip pen, drawing a moustache on themselves and pretending to be.
People dress up as him for Halloween.
Stuart, show me your Sharpie.
Exactly. I'm away to do it now that I've taught myself.
Exactly.
But he's going to make us a lot of money.